Hey guys!
Hi guys!
Alrighty, so there was so much good stuff that was shown off at New York.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And we want to do the top 10 things that we saw. It was very hard to narrow it down.
It was difficult.
Everything we want to talk about are things that were never shown.
That's right.
So there were a lot of things that were in the fair that probably deserve to be on the list, but we actually already saw them. They've already released it. They just kind of released it like 1/12 Collective from Mezco. A lot of those we've already seen, so they're not going to end up on the list, and so on and so forth. So let's get started. We're going to start off with 2 honorable mentions because I think they do deserve to be on the list. We're going to start off with the NECA figures. These are a new line they're doing called the Versus series. What we got to see though was Batman and like a Joker alien.
Yeah, it's super cool.
It looks so awesome. So this 2-pack was actually from a DC Comics and Dark Horse comic from 1997. So that's what they're playing is. NECA, I mean, NECA's killing it with action figures.
They really
There's no doubt. We have some things to review we haven't reviewed yet from NECA that are action figures. We don't personally like to collect a lot of action figures, but NECA, why are you doing this to me? You're doing a fantastic
thing. What are you doing to us?
But not only did they do an alien version with Batman, they're also doing a Predator one that looks amazing. It was a very preliminary reveal, so there wasn't a whole lot of information there, so that's why it ended up.
It was like a little teaser, like, here you go, and we'll tell you more later.
Yeah.
Another honorable mention that should be on the list, but there's just not enough room, is the Giant Mecha Batman by Fisher-Price. It's like a giant Rock'em Sock'em robot for kids. This is fantastic. I kind of want it as an adult.
Oh man, if you were a kid, this would be the thing that you would want. Of course, this is the Mecha robot from the new series where Jim Gordon took over Batman because they thought he was dead, yada yada. If you haven't read the comic, you'll find out. But this is it. This is the big, yeah, this is crazy. If I was a young kid, this would be the #1 toy I would want.
Definitely. I think even adults are going to want this because it's so giant and so cool.
Shooting rockets and punching things and wings.
It's like a Godzilla
Oh my god,
Batman.
sign me up. Sign me up. You know, the one thing that always bothered me about these commercials when I was a kid, you'd always see these big robots and like Godzilla and Megazord and stuff, but they have all these buildings around.
Right.
And they get to knock them down, but they never sold those buildings.
No, they didn't. You get it home, you're like, what am I supposed to knock down?
And nobody's parents ever would make you the building.
No.
So I don't know about you, I would always have like sets of Jenga. I used to draw windows on my Jenga set too, so it looked like a building.
Starting off the list at number 10, we have Hasbro and Marvel role-playing collectible accessories. Now these are going to be roughly around $100.
Affordable.
Very affordable, and they're coming out sometime in the fall. So it's going to be nice to have replicas of all of these different accessories and helmets that you can have in your house to either put on display or cosplay with. It's just nice to have something that's affordable.
Yeah, when I was looking at these, I really liked the detail.
Yes.
Like with Iron Man's helmet, when it's actually open, it looks like, you know, kind of computerized on the inside of it. Really, really good. I mean, if you ever make a helmet yourself, or any prop for that matter, it's not going to be $100, I can assure you that.
Not.
If you want to do it like really good from scratch, it literally costs you maybe $1,000.
Yes, it
like
does.
It's very, very expensive. Where these have like light up effects, like Star-Lord's helmet.
I mean, it's already there for you. It's easier, and Star-Lord's helmet is really nice.
Yeah, this is just a really cool idea, and if you're a cosplayer, I think this is great, especially if you're Iron Man. You don't have to go out and spend a gigantic amount for a helmet.
I think Captain America's shield looks nice. I'm curious what
faux
size
metal.
it's going to be.
It's faux metal, so it is gonna. It has a metal like sort of surface on it, but it's not metal. I don't know about that one. I think if you want to be Captain America, it better look like metal. You haven't really got to see it like in person or whatever, so you don't know how good that faux metal looks. But nonetheless, this is great. This is a good idea. Number 9, something I am excited for. This is something I've always wanted as a kid. It's easy to make them, I suppose, but it always looks kind of eh. And they've done all the hard work for you. DC Collectibles is making a bat signal prop replica. Now, it's 12 inches. It's not gigantic, but it can only be so big, right? I mean, you can't have one this large in your house.
I mean, you could have one the size of your dinner table if you really want to.
Now, what's cool about this one is it's really heavy. That's what I'm hearing. It's super heavy. It's not some little cheap kind of junky thing. It's big, it's heavy.
It looks like it has a solid base.
It does have a solid stone base, although it's resin. And one thing that was cool, of course it does have a light in it. It will give you the bat silhouette. But it also is going to have a couple, they haven't nailed it down to how many different logos, but it's going to have options for different bat signals in there. So from what I've seen, it looks like you're going to have like the Nolan, you're going to have the regular sort of Keaton look.
Right.
And then the Jim Lee.
Yes.
I think those are the 3 that they said. I don't know if there's going to be any more of them. But they're going to have yellow ones, they're going to have clear ones. So I'm really excited about this.
I'm super excited for this one. Can you imagine setting this up by your Hot Toys and having like a nice display with it, or your statues? It's going to be great. Now, number 8 on the list is one of the coolest things released, I think, ever for Wonder Woman fans. They're prop replicas of Wonder Woman's tiara, her armbands, and the lasso of truth. And these are inlaid within a Greek column. Or should I say, Themyscirian column?
So cool. I mean, the setup.
It's so nice.
The setup is where this thing shines.
Yes,
no
it
doubt
does.
about it. It's gold. It looked silver to me when they were showing it in video, but it definitely looks gold to me now. The bands might be silver, but I don't know. They all gotta be gold.
Silver,
it's hard to tell
we'll
sometimes when things are shining on white, that column.
Right.
It's beautiful. It's expensive.
It's very
it's like $300. About everything so far is expensive. Any prop replica is going to be expensive. But if you're a Wonder Woman fan, I honestly can't think of anything more.
I can't think of anything that would be better than this. And especially if you want to like dress up or cosplay, I feel like this is really going to set your costume apart from a lot of people.
Without a doubt. Number 7.
Number 7.
Okay, if you guys are collecting Batman the Animated Series action figures, you already know this series is unbelievable. What DC Collectibles is doing with this, it just blows my mind.
Yeah.
It's something that, as a kid... Okay, this is the thing I can compare it to. G.I. Joes. I know it's a weird comparison. I wasn't a kid back then. I wasn't even alive back then. But I always looked at those toys like, man, I really wish we could have had something like that.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is the size, the scale of these. You know, whether it's the USS Flag or anything, they have gigantic toys. And they always made me, like, so jealous.
Very envious.
They're kind of doing it with this line. The Batwing is 3 foot long.
It's huge!
The Batmobile is 2 foot long. They have working lights. Well, now DC Collectibles are showing, we're not done yet. We're going to do an Alfred and Batcave playset.
I'm very excited for this. I can't wait to put this up with all of the other props that we have. I think this is going to look nice to complete the set.
It's got Alfred. It's got a tray of food like he's bringing Bruce Wayne his cup of coffee.
Master Bruce.
And it's got his Bat computer. And what's interesting is it's red. And when I saw an interview, they couldn't really tell what color the Bat computer was on the television series.
Oh.
So they had to keep looking, and the only thing they could find was red. And they said it's probably because the animators needed to separate it from that black background. So they always threw red light on it. That's why they made the computer red when they were originally going to do it gray.
That's interesting. I never knew that.
This is my favorite line of action. I don't collect action figures, like I've said, but I cannot stay away from these DC
I feel
collectibles.
like you say you don't collect action figures, however, you
I don't, but I do.
Them.
But I don't, but I do. And this is just amazing. This is by far, in my opinion, the best action figure set, especially if you're a Batman fan like I am. But unbelievable!
There's so
I can't
much
believe they're
detail
doing
in
it.
this set,
I love
too.
it. I'm just excited for this, and I had to have it.
Number 6 on our list is the designer series Superman statue by Neil Adams. This one is so nice. It's Superman breaking out of kryptonite chains, and I think that this is going to be just as fantastic as the rest of the line.
I mean, the designer series is some of the best stuff DC does.
It really is, and it's so affordable. Like, the statues are really nice. They're
like
very
$130.
big. Right.
I mean, that's a great deal. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see it, like right here, this Dark Knight statue.
This giant Dark Knight statue.
Let me just grab it.
I mean, come on now.
This is the designer series statues, okay? They're $130, which is an absolute steal for the size and the quality and the sculpt and the paint app and everything. These are, in my opinion, the best thing that DC is doing right now. The bombshells are great. I think the bombshells are fantastic, but for the size, this is it. I mean, you can't go out and buy anything like from a sideshow or anything like that and get anywhere near this price. This is the best thing, in my opinion, DC's doing right now. And to be able to add Superman to that, it's a win for me. Also on that Superman list, we got to do a couple things. We didn't make the whole list of Superman, so we just do this in there too.
Right.
Is the 2-pack from The Death of Superman. If you guys read comics back in the 90s, or even now for that matter, you know that story, The Death of Superman. When Doomsday kills Superman, he comes back in robots and crap like that.
Yeah.
That's not what's important. What's important is that comic book cover. Number one, it was my very first comic. That was my very first comic, and it means a lot to me. Last year, I believe on my birthday. So the comic's gone. I don't have the comic anymore. Ashley went out and bought me one of the plastic sleeve, the black one, comics that our local comic shop had. And like the most famous thing with that comic is the tattered Superman cape. It looks kind of like a flag.
It makes you just want to cry when you look at it.
It was The Death of Superman, and they're doing a 2-pack of it. And I think that's just fantastic. What's cool about this pack, though, besides Doomsday and Superman's going to have 2 other heads. He's going to have 3 heads in total. Like a dead face, which is interesting.
Which is kind of creepy and a little morbid.
Yeah, and then just this regular face. So it's just cool to have this. I love 2-packs because they tell a story.
I do too.
Not, like I said, I don't really collect figures just for the figures, but when you have a 2-pack, it really tells a story.
Yeah, well, you have a scene that's set within the 2-pack, and I love how you have his cape kind of blowing in the wind, and it's tattered, and his chest is all exposed, and it's torn. It's very well done.
Number 5 brings us Star Wars. It is their 40th anniversary this year. They are 40. Can you believe that?
40 years ago.
40 years ago, the first Star Wars movie came out. And with that movie also came the action figures. So to celebrate this occasion, Hasbro has announced a new series that pays homage to the classic Kenner-era Star Wars toys. Unlike the original 3 3/4 figures, these will be sized to the 6-inch Black Series figures, so nothing's changed there. They're not going to be the little ones, they're going to be the big ones, which is good for the original collectors, obviously. They don't want you to, you know, replicate those old ones.
Do not infringe on those old ones.
That would be bad. What's really nice about these, though, they are repackaging them to look sort of like the old figures.
Yeah.
They're doing the original 12, so if you're familiar with the old Star Wars figures, you know that they came out with an original 12, and that's what they're doing. They're redoing the 12, and they're doing 2 waves. So the first wave is pre-orderable right now. It's going to have Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, Obi-Wan, and R2-D2. The second wave is going to come out later this year, and it's going to include Chewbacca, C-3PO, the Death Squad Commander, a Tusken Raider, a Jawa, Darth Vader, and a Stormtrooper. But that's not it. It gets cooler. It gets a lot cooler.
It gets way, way, way cooler.
Say you want Darth Vader. How am I going to get Darth Vader?
Right.
Hasbro will be offering a special version of Darth Vader. It's a recreation of the Kenner Early Bird Certificate package that was sold during Christmas in 1977. These were cardboard display sets that allowed the purchasers a voucher for figures of Luke, Leia, R2, and Chewie that would be later mailed to them in early 1978. So the surprise popularity of the movie was the big reason for that.
Right.
Nobody really knew back then that the movie was going to be that popular. And when it was, kids wanted action figures really bad. But Kenner wasn't ready for it. They were like, oh crap.
Well, even the actors thought that the movies were going to be kind of like this terrible thing that no one really went to see.
So what happened was Kenner came out with these early bird things where the parents could go out and buy these vouchers basically, and it'd give you an empty box, and then you'd fill out that voucher and mail it in, and they'd mail you those 4 figures. Not a lot of people did it. Well, I mean, a lot of people did it in the grand scheme of things, but not a lot of people have that original box and everything.
Right.
They're pretty valuable. So what Hasbro is doing is they're taking that same theme, the box looks the same and everything, and you're still going to get sort of a display set for the 12 that's going to come out from Hasbro, but it's going to come with the Darth Vader. I think that is so cool. What an idea.
I love this. It's like vintage. It's taking everybody back to their childhood. I think it's a great way to pay homage to the original collectors.
Yes, it's awesome. Also, if you do collect Black Series, you know that the R2 is hard to get and he's kind of expensive, so here you are, you're able to get him in a different format. Luke and his X-Wing pilot will also be coming to the Star Wars Celebration in Orlando this year, so keep an eye on for him, and also R5-D4 will be coming exclusively to GameStop. So once again, I mean, they're really kind of going with that. It looks cool. I like that old school sort of thing.
I love the old school feel of this.
Yes, it's great.
Number 4 on the list is the DC Designer Series Aquaman and Mera statue. This is so beautifully done. I love the bright coral at the bottom. I love the embrace. I love the look on their faces. Now, if you follow this line, you know there's a Batman and Catwoman, a Joker and Harley, Black Canary and Green Arrow, and a Superman and Wonder Woman statue set. These are really well done. I love them, and this is a must-have on my list. Probably one of my top 2 I have to have.
These are kind of special to us.
They are.
You know, because obviously we're a couple. Right. We like DC. These are sort of ones that we like to collect just because of our relationship with us and DC.
Exactly.
They just are cool if you're a couple and you like comic book stuff. That's why we collect them and why we really like them. It's cool to see that.
It is.
It's cool
so
to
fantastic.
see 2 characters in the DC world that are, you know, married or they have a relationship or whatever.
Well, you've seen them
together.
overcome all of these obstacles to be together, and I love that they're making the statues to show that their love for each other.
It totally takes them away from that sort of superhero look where they're fighting and battling, and like you said, it gives them that warm embrace.
Human.
It does. It makes them human. It shows you the relationship. It's kind of that part that they don't write in the comic books. Like, you know this has to occur, especially with just like Aquaman and Mera. You know they're off somewhere hugging and kissing and talking about the day, but you never see that in the comics.
No.
And that's what I really like.
That.
Number 3 includes all the Justice League movie statues.
And
you can't do one. You can't do one. They all got to be in there. DC has been doing such a fantastic job on their statues, especially ones like the Suicide Squad. Okay?
Yeah, they're really great.
These look to be in that same format of the Suicide Squad, about 13 inches tall, around $120, very detailed. Their portrait looks almost exactly like the characters in the movie, the actors in the movie, actresses. I am excited about these.
I am very excited for this. It's nice to have new statues of Superman and Batman, of course, but it's nice to get more Wonder Woman and Aquaman.
That Flash.
That Flash, though. Yes.
Cyborg.
Yes,
you know,
Cyborg
it's
too.
really cool because these are very well detailed. And one thing I like most about these statues, we talk about it all the time, they're layered with different material.
Right.
So they're not all resin. Like Batman's cape is going to be a cloth material and that kind of thing. I love that. That really just changes the entire look of the statue. When their capes are cloth and not sculpted. I love it. I think the Wonder Woman looks fantastic. It's interesting to see Aquaman because I assume that's sort of this battle suit or whatever, you know. I want them all, and you're not gonna be able to buy one of them. That's the problem with these.
No, you have to get the whole set.
Yeah, I get the whole
like,
set.
You know, Suicide Squad.
And I really do. I guess you could get the Trinity and call it a day if you want.
You could, but
be tough though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But I do like the bases where they just have the JL on it for Justice League. This is something I'm excited for, and I'm gonna put this on my list. I gotta have them all.
Number 2, Harley Everything.
Harley stole the show,
right? She stole the show this year. I'm so excited because when they first designed the bombshell statue for Harley, she originally was going to come out standing on a bomb.
Yeah.
But the price point was really expensive. They couldn't really get it down to the $100 price point that they really wanted to stay at, so they had to X the bomb out of it. And now that the Bombshell series has done so well, they're bringing it out with her on her bomb. I have to have this. This is my number 1 of the entire toy fair that I have to have personally.
More than number 1 that we're going to talk about?
Well, number 1 I know you have to have, so I guess this is going to be my number 1 I have to have.
It is a great statue. It does look a lot like her original. There's not a whole lot of difference. So if you did miss the original, she's unaffordable now as far as I'm concerned. They want $400, $500 for her.
She's insanely expensive.
She's retired or whatever. She's gone. So you don't want to get her. But if you still want a bombshell to go in your bombshell collection, this is it.
Go for this one.
It's $170 is what they've got it priced at. That's not too bad, really.
That's not too bad.
Scheme of things.
Exactly. Compared to the bombshell of her original one, if you want to buy that online, this is going to be much more affordable.
It's so cool looking.
It's so fantastic. As you all know, Harley got her start on Batman the Animated Series. DC Collectibles is now making a statue based off of Harley's Holiday, which is an episode from the 3rd season, and it's the 6th episode. This episode is basically where Harley is coming out of Arkham Asylum, and she is a sane person now.
She wants to prove she's sane.
She wants to prove she's sane, so she goes out shopping with her 2 hyenas, which is not very sane.
Yeah, and she can't tell. People are like, what's wrong with this girl? Right. She thinks they're just dogs.
Right.
No big deal.
She's like, what's wrong? These are my dogs. They're fine. They're housebroken.
Yeah.
But when she goes out shopping, a misunderstanding occurs with her and the sales clerk when the tag doesn't get removed off of her dress she buys, and it just sends Harley over the edge.
She thinks they're after her.
You're not sending me back, Copper! It's at that point where she fights off everybody. She runs to the dressing room and dons her leotard, and Bruce Wayne tries to help her. He's like, it's okay, Harley, it's okay. And she's like, never! You people are not right! I tried! And then she runs out and steals the car.
And she's back to being Harley.
That's right.
She tried to be sane.
She tried to fit in.
Didn't work for her. The design of it, though, is fantastic.
I love this statue. It's super pretty. And another one of my must-haves. I have to have it. I love how the hyenas are just going off to the side, too.
It's very balanced. It's sort of a 3D statue. You can look at it from all angles. It's a beautiful statue.
It really is.
And they really recreated that look, that sort of title of Harley's Holiday from the animated series almost perfectly.
Yes,
it's great. This is a great statue. But it's not number 1.
Be still my heart.
Number 1 is something that I was just so shocked when I saw it.
Yes, I was
like,
too.
Whoa, that's
like,
something so
that
different. DC Collectibles is coming out with a 14-inch Batman versus Harley Quinn battle statue.
Oh my God.
So Harley Quinn is fighting Batman on a roller coaster cart, and her hyenas are biting Batman's cape.
Him.
Joker's face is on the front of the cart. There's dynamite all over this place.
Beatrice is in there.
It's dynamic. It's unbelievable. And maybe the most interesting thing about the statue is it was created in-house. It was not taken from an artwork or an artist. They created this in-house.
All from their own minds. I feel like this needs to have their names on it because it is so beautifully done. Someone needs credit for this.
The thing about this statue that sort of blows me away, it's nothing like this has been done.
No, definitely not.
Nothing. I can't think of anything, any statue, okay, this is a perfect example. We see these the love statues, like the Kiss or the Designer series where they have 2 people loving each other. This is like the opposite of
2
that.
people hating each other.
It's crazy.
Each other.
I love that Batman's in his blue and gray outfit instead of the normal black and gray or whatever. So it's nice to see a little different.
Well, it gives it nice contrast.
This is my number 1. This is my most wanted. Just the ability to see it in 3D, just being so dynamic.
The design.
The colors, the design, the action. It tells a story.
There's so much movement.
Everything a statue should be.
Yes, it is. This is one of my must-haves, but I know it says number 1, so there's no point in buying 2, so I'm going to let you buy this one.
The big problem is, this is going to be a very expensive year.
Oh, it's super expensive.
A very expensive year.
But we have to have it.
It's kind of unfortunate because a lot of the things on the list are expensive.
Oh yeah, this whole haul is going to cost us quite a bit of money.
So, number 1 we have to have. There's absolutely no reason. I'm going to get it pre-ordered probably right away. I think it's limited to 5,000 pieces, so that's kind of a lot, but not that much.
Not really.
Yeah, so we got to get that right away. I think that the Harley Bombshell, the new Bombshell, I should say, we got to have that. We got to have the Harley Holiday.
Gotta have it.
I guess this is really going to expand your Harley collection.
Oh, my Harley collection is about to just grow exponentially.
So that's our top 10. I'm sorry if you're not a super DC fan, but to be honest with you, we wanted to put a lot of things on this list.
We really
even
did.
Though we tried. Even though we like DC. The thing was, though, there wasn't a whole lot in the show that wasn't DC that we found really, really good, in our opinion. Up to this date, there are things still being shown currently. But as far as what we've seen today, really, I think DC sort of stole the show. Well, DC
kind of always steals the show for us, but this year I feel like they stole the show collectively for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, Codepia usually has a lot of good stuff, but we saw most of it. And I think everything on Codepia's list we've seen before.
Exactly.
So it didn't really make it, like we said, Mezco and the 1/12 Collective. I think the only thing that they showed that we hadn't seen before is the Popeye 1/12 Collective, which was cool. So I just gotta say that, you know, DC stole a show for us this year, even though we're big DC fans. That wasn't the reason we would put them on our list. I think overall they just did really well. So that was our list. What was yours? Or at least what was your number one? What was your favorite thing
what
at
was your
the toy
number
fair?
one pick?
My number one was definitely the Batman versus Harley. I think that was a fantastic statue.
Yes, that's my number one, but my number one I have to buy outside of that one because I know you're going to get it is the Harley Bombshell.
Yeah, they're both really cool.
They are.
What was your favorite, guys? Also, we will have a link down below in the description to our website, nerdtherapy.net. If you haven't been there yet, check it out. Under the blog section, we've written up the top 10, plus a lot of honorable mentions that we didn't discuss in this video. There's a lot of them, as you can imagine. So click that link down below. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Good day.